Hi, guys. I think we'll just take questions and you guys can kick it off.
Chris, you kind of addressed this a little bit Sunday, but there wasn't much more in terms of pitching over the last 36 hours. What do you feel like you've done overall to your pitching staff? I mean, beyond just the bodies that you've added.
Well, I think we've added two frontline starting pitchers to a very good starting pitching staff, and very good, two very good bullpen arms. If you go back to last month when we acquired Chapman, so Stratton and Chapman, both experienced players who fit our bullpen well, and by strengthening the starting pitching, I think we lengthen our bullpen and make them better.
What are you guys getting from Austin Hedges?
Well, the move for Austin was somewhat related to Jonah's injury. Certainly with Sam and Mitch on roster, we feel like we want to carry three catchers, and as I'm not going to call it an insurance policy, but it's a rotation between the three to cover while Jonah's out. We're very optimistic that we'll have Jonah back at some point. I can't tell you when that'll be, but we recognize that Sam is young. We're going to be playing meaningful games, and Mitch has had he's been banged up at times, and so we felt like getting Austin was a way to provide more protection at a very important position as we play meaningful games down the stretch.
On Sunday, I think it was in San Diego, you said, you like where the lineup and offense is at. So, clearly you guys didn't have bats, so that materialized like you said, right?
Yeah, it's, I think when we get Corey back, it will solidify the lineup. The team has proven they're capable of scoring runs. We have depth, we have versatility, and I'm very confident that they will continue to produce as we go into these next 2 months of the season.
So how would you sum up what's happened in the American League West over the past week or so with the number of bodies that are changing and teams making moves all in?
Well, I've been mainly focused on the Texas Rangers, and any way to make the Texas Rangers better and give our fans a chance to have a fun September and hopefully October. We came into the season focused on being a competitive club and playing meaningful games in September with a chance to play in October. This team has done a great job of putting us in that situation here at the deadline. It was our responsibility to add to this team to make it even better. I feel like we've accomplished that, and that's going to remain our focus as we go into these last couple months here, is just playing good baseball. We didn't expect this division to be easy. We realized that there's competition from, obviously, Houston is the team to beat. They've World Series champions, and they've played great baseball. Los Angeles has been a very solid team and weathered the storm while Mike Trout's been out. And Seattle is they were a playoff team last year, and I don't count them out by any means. They've got great pitching, they've got a very good bullpen, and they play good baseball. So this division is not easy, and we just need to focus on playing good baseball and playing up to the best of our abilities night in, night out.
Hey, and just to go back to the first thing I asked about the pitching staff, you've still got some time to sort through things, but is part of what will make the bullpen better that you will eventually slide a guy or two guys from your rotation into roles in the bullpen to help solidify the bullpen?
I think that's very possible. I mean, I'm not going to get into the specifics of who the personnel will be, but yes, we have a number of pitchers who have pitched in the bullpen, whether it's this season or previously. And we've got very good options, and similar to what I said on the offense, this rotation now has depth and some versatility as well, and we think it'll serve us well.
Regarding Jonah, you said you're optimistic he'll be back. You can't say when. Do you expect him back this season? And there were tests today? Is there something you can shed light on there? Yeah,
there's no specific timeline. I think that we have a pretty good understanding of the injury, that it's going to take a little bit of time. Our expectation is he will likely be able to hit from the left side before the right, but I think all things considered, we're cautiously optimistic that he will be back. And again, I don't want to commit to a timeline, but at this point, we expect him to resume baseball activities at some point in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll rejoin the team quickly.
Before I ask you a trade question, do you have any update on Corey?
Corey's doing well. He's doing some modified baseball activity, and I think all signs point to him being back sometime shortly thereafter the 10-day period. But again, that could change, and it's one step at a time. But everything right now is going very well, and we're hopeful we'll have him back relatively soon.
Obviously, you do your due diligence on any of these guys you're acquiring, but all three of the guys you've got in the last few days have Mike Maddox connections. I mean, how important was that as far as understanding them and them being able to come in a situation where they'll have him?
Well, I think it's very helpful. I think it's comforting for the players to come to a situation where they have some familiarity with the coaching staff, the players, and certainly their pitching coach. But that was not the reason specifically we targeted those guys. That was really more of a coincidence than anything. That said, I think it helps with the transition and the assimilation. And Mike has been a great resource for us as we've done background on these guys, and we have no doubt that they'll fit right in with our group.
In a lot of ways, you could look at the moves that got made today and say, look, the Astros were reacting to you guys. Was there any thought in your room after they made the Verlander deal that we need to go and do anything else? Do you walk
No, Evan, again, we focus on what the Texas Rangers need to do to be the best team we can be. Nothing has been reactive.
CY, is there anything on Nathan today, regarding his situation?
No, I haven't gotten a medical update today regarding Nate. Our expectation is that he continues. He's making progress. Our expectation is that he will be back. I don't have a firm timeline on that, but we knew this was going to require a little bit of time. That's why we've IL'd him. We pushed him back originally in the hopes that a few extra days rest would help. Then became clear that we needed to give him a little more than that. Our hope is that shortly after the IL stint is up, he'll be ready to pitch. Right now he's in a rest period and just making sure we calm this down before we send him back out there.
And the last thing on the medical side was, since John's moving back just a little bit, was he a little bit still banged up from getting hit by the ball, or was he a little bit banged up at all?
Yeah, Rich, you can guide me. I don't know how much detail's been given, but I think John had, after getting the line drive, he pitched, and then I think there was some further edema that was causing some discomfort, and we were able to get that under control. It was part of the reason we backed him up, but we certainly didn't want him going out there compromising anything. And he's doing very well. Should be in line to make a start here soon.
So what have the past 2 days been like? I mean, you guys did your heavy lifting Saturday and Sunday. Is it frustrating? Were there deals that you didn't get done, or were you guys content after Sunday and we're just looking for luxury?
No, it didn't. I mean, it did not slow down in terms of our preparation, our work, and really, I'd be remiss if I didn't commend the work of the front office, the pro scouting department, and Mike Parnell and our assistant general managers, Ross Finsterbaker and Josh Boyd, and just for all the work they and everyone else did to prepare for this deadline. Obviously, we've been very active. It started, really well before we even acquired Araldus, and has continued on. So it's been, we had to pause for the draft a little bit, but it's been an eventful couple months here preparing for this time. And, again, the credit goes to the players for playing so well and putting us in this situation. And then it's our responsibility to try to make this team better. And I think that we've done that. We're excited to watch this group come together and make a final push here over the next couple months.
You only traded, not only, but you traded Reagan's, Acuna, King, and 2 prospects. Do you feel good about it seems like the depth of the farm system remains intact? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd start by saying in order to acquire good players, you have to give up very good players, and we certainly did that with a number of the prospects we gave up. And in a lot of ways it hurts to give up those guys, but you also understand that their success, whether it's here or anywhere else, is somewhat a function of their time with the Texas Rangers. And we're going to be rooting for those guys and excited about their progress. But we felt like in this moment, we need to do everything we could to give this team a chance to make the playoffs. And so that was a big part of the moves. You know, I am very pleased that we still have the top of our farm system intact. We have very good players. You know, we have really, we feel like impact players that'll be here over the coming year and years, and that's part of what we believe is the opening of our window to compete and win.
On Hedges, he leads the majors, I think, in outs via framing, right? He's an exceptional framer. Do you view this through the lens of, look, we're continuing to help our pitching staff by adding this kind of catcher who's on par with Jonah on that side of the ball?
Yeah, it's certainly something we value immensely. We've been very fortunate that both Jonah and Mitch have been very good in that regard. And you know, our catching coach Bobby Wilson does a great job with these guys, and you know, Austin will make us even better there. It's not the sole reason we targeted Austin. He's an experienced veteran player who's been in playoff environments and knows what it takes, and he will add a level of leadership and comfort to the pitching staff that will hopefully serve them well.
See, but you know, you mentioned the Hedges move, like that Jonah's injury had some impact on that, and clearly what you've got going on with your pitching staff has some impact on the moves that you made pitching wise. Is there a way to kind of like put into words like how you weigh that, because you're hoping that these guys are coming back, but you've also had a number of injuries mounting that could impact this playoff race?
Well, I think, Evan, as we stepped back and really took a just overall big picture look at our team and where the specific needs would be, you know, we lost Jacob early in the year. You know, we have a starting pitching staff that has some track record of injuries, and we knew that coming in the year. We knew that there were going to be times where they needed some blows. We lost Jaco to Rizzi early in the year, and you know, Dunning shifted into the rotation, and so I think just all things considered, Cody Bradford's done a tremendous job of stepping up and providing depth for us. But as you look really down at AAA, there is a lack of depth at this point. And so fortifying the rotation and building in some of the depth by acquiring two frontline starting pitchers in Max and Jordan to go with Nathan and Andrew and John and Dane and Martine, and we now have depth again, and I think that's really important. But we also have what we consider to be very good quality as well.
Chris, this winter when we talked to you about the roster construction, you kind of, while you were being aggressive in free agency, also tried to temper our expectations a little bit. You said, listen, we expect to win in 2023, but really probably 24 is where we really think we're going to hit our peak. Has that timeline changed for you given the performance of the team this year and the acquisitions at the deadline? Yeah,
I mean, Levi, I think the way the guys have played has obviously made it change. These guys have come out and they've just had a tremendous first 4 months of the season and put us in this position. And the credit goes to the players in the clubhouse. They've done all this. We can sit around and make projections and predictions of how many games a team's going to win, but what you can't measure is the heart of a team, the chemistry of a team, the culture, the way it comes together. And this group has done a tremendous job of building that chemistry, that culture from day one in spring training, and it speaks to the individuals in that locker room. It speaks to the leadership of Bruce Bochy and the coaching staff, and it's been really fun to see it to come together. And I think we owe it to them, and we owe it to our fans to give them every chance to try to continue winning. And very excited about the team we have moving forward, and looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Okay, send it there.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.